The Hard Truth with Akosia Konedu, only on Vice at 1.
Brought to you by EcoBank.
As a veteran in the Ghanaian general elections, he makes his fifth attempt at winning the presidency with the slogan, "Three Sure, New Way." But however, with a dwindling performance at the polls with each passing elections for his party, thus the re-invigoration presents a stronger force for the PNC. He has promised a more responsible presidency, as well as promising to halve unemployment in 24 months, ensuring a more efficient management of the energy sector and oil resources, and generally making Ghana rise again. However, could this be the last grasp attempt at the presidency for Dr. Edward Mahama, or this is the golden moment for him after so many attempts? Does his policies and plans for the nation present a credible opportunity to trigger the growth and development he envisages? Dr. Edward Mahama is our guest tonight, and this is The Hard Truth. We are proudly brought to you by EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank. I am Nana Akosia Konedu. Asante Samuels. Flag bearer PNC is here, Dr. Edward Mahama. I don't know how to pronounce it. I don't. So Nasigre, is it right?
Yes, Nasigre.
Nasigre Mahama.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Hard Truth today. Thank you so much
for
for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Now, you stated that Ghana's leadership for the past 24 years have been characterized by staggering mismanagement, incompetence, corruption, cronyism, and greed. And you claim to bring something new to the fore.
Yeah.
What would that be? You said new deals and new
deal,
force.
New beginnings.
New beginnings, new
deal,
deals, new force. But however, sir, many politicians promise change, yet when they are voted into power, they don't deliver. Let me ask you, so what makes you unique, and why should Ghana see you different from other politicians and put their trust in you?
First of all, I wrote a book saying I'm not a politician. I've refused to go along with this general attitude in our political atmosphere that you go into politics to see what you can get for yourself. Secondly, I have looked at the problems that we are facing as a nation, and I reject the fact that we are a land of oil, gold, diamond, bauxite, manganese, arable land, cocoa, the best cocoa in the whole world, and yet our roads, if you see Accra from the air, you see that the suburbs of Accra, like Domi, the roads are undone, and I'm wondering, what else do we want God to do for us? Because at independence, we were ahead of India, of all places. Our per capita was higher than India. We were ahead of Malaysia. In fact, Dr. Nkrumah sent Dr. Robert Gardner, whom you will not even know, to go and help them with their economics. And we have fallen behind all these countries because of the kind of leadership that we have had. Nkrumah, in 9 years, what he did in 9 years, no other leader has come close to
So I get that. We hear this, they compare
right.
government to government.
Yeah.
Yet when it comes, it's a different ballgame. So why should we trust that whatever you said, you're going to be competent, you fight corruption, mismanagement and all, why should we trust that you would deliver?
Well, you should trust, because if you look at my past, why does PNC keep sending me back? They've seen something about me that Ghana has failed to see, and maybe they will see now. As leader of PNC, I've led it with integrity. Whenever we have had programs where somebody is funding for PNC to do a program, I'm a resource person, I get a check, I turn it back to the party to put in the party coffers to do other things for the party. And that's why they keep sending me back. This will be the 5th time. So I'm saying to Ghanaians, the people of PNC have seen something in me that you people are failing to see. They've seen also not only the integrity that I have led the party with, they've seen that I have brought about seismic change in our social environment. National health insurance. A stark difference between cash and carry, which killed people in my hands at Kolebu, and that is the reason why I thought we should bring about a health insurance. That program has done a lot of tremendous good. In fact, Ghana was judged one of the countries that introduced a social intervention that was worth for other people to copy. So Ghana was awarded by the World Bank for introducing national health insurance. School feeding, you know. So besides integrity, ideas as to how to run this country and change it. For example, I've been saying that, and you can come and inspect it. I have monitored our electricity problem since 1995. When you are monitoring a problem, it means you are also looking for solutions to it. So I promised the people of Ghana that within the first 100 days, I'll fix it. You know, people don't believe it. But so did they not believe when I said we'll bring school feeding. They said we are HIPIC. If you know what HIPIC means. Highly indebted poor country. Where are we going to get the money to do it? And yet, when they won that 2004 election, the next thing they did was to bring about school feeding. And even there, the program has been instituted, but it's not being managed well. Corruption is making it so badly managed that even some school children in Ashanti region refused the food that was offered.
So you're saying, Ghana, try me. I'll deliver on my promises. What you're telling us now.
Yes.
You should try.
Yes.
So you promised again. I find it quite interesting. You said you will halve unemployment within 24 months.
Yes.
That's 2 years.
Yes.
And then the number of unemployment graduates involves 200,000 people. Unemployment is believed to be in the millions now. Yet, you are promising a 50% reduction in the youth and within that month. Let me ask you, what workable policies do you plan on implementing to achieve these ambitious promises?
When I was a rice farmer in the north, a doctor and a rice farmer, I did rice farming as a hobby because I was already a doctor at 28. At that time, there were no KIAs because all the girls who are coming from the north to do KIA, they had jobs to do in the rice industry. And so what I'm promising now, in the agri sector, the agro-processing, you remember...
what if I don't or I wouldn't want to go into the agriculture sector? What of other areas? We have diverse areas in Ghana apart from agri. There's energy sector, many sectors, private sector. What would you do?
I'm starting with an area where you can immediately see the result. When
Are the other areas difficult to penetrate, from what you're saying?
No, not necessarily. But I'm starting with an area where it is very easy to see because farming is a seasonal thing. And when you go in there, you can immediately see the impact. Our food import bill will be reduced. Also, in other areas, as you're saying, it is very possible to do that. I think one of the things we are not doing is unearthing talent. So I have said that we're going to put aside a percentage of our GDP for R&D, that's research and development. This R&D simply means that there will be money for people who will search for talent among the groups to do that. And when you unearth the talent and you set them, you nurture them, then they also become employers.
So it's going to be all sectors, but you start from agriculture.
Yes.
In 2015, I think somewhere in April, President Mahama launched, the National Employment Policy, to restructure the Labor Development Department into a research center. The center will be responsible, according to them, for creating a national employment database in which employees will no longer need skills. In return, will be given a tax exemptions. However, you also, sir, plan to set up a national labor office when voted into power to provide the reliable statistics on labor within the country. Let me ask, how different, sir, it's your idea from what the government is pursuing?
Indeed, our problem has always been implementation and the corruption in those implementations. You know about GIDA, you know about SADA, very laudable programs, but they were wrought with corruption and they have failed miserably because the people who were to implement them did not monitor and evaluate the programs. They were busy taking the money that was meant for the programs, and that's why corruption again is my number one priority. And I've said that I am praying to be the David of Ghana, to fight the Goliath of Ghana, which I consider to be corruption. So when you minimize corruption and you put in these programs, they work. But if you put in a very beautiful program, and that program is fraught with corruption, it fails.
So your key is implementation. You will implement what you say.
Implementation, yes.
We'll be right back. We'll be right back.
The Hard Truth with Akosia Konedu, only on Vice at 1.
Brought to you by EcoBank. At EcoBank, we see a great future. One that's full of opportunity for those who want to be the best. With over 1,000 branches of a single bank across 33 African countries. It's a future where trade can flourish without boundaries. The future is breathtaking, with enormous cross-border investments helping business and government build new infrastructure, while individuals achieve their ambitions right across Africa. The future is Pan-African, and EcoBank is the Pan-African bank.
Welcome back. You're still watching The Hard Truth. We are proudly brought to you by EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank, PNC flag bearer, People's National Convention flag bearer. It's here, Edward Nasigre Mahama. So, agriculture is an important sector of our economy, which has been its backbone for many years. However, the sector has been underperforming in recent times. When voted into power, what blueprints would you intend to execute in order to catapult agriculture sector towards the path exponential and sustained growth?
It's a multi-sectorial approach that has to be taken. We have said in our manifesto, the old manifesto, that we'll grow the economy, the national economy, at 10% per annum based on agric, not the oil, not the gold, agric. We have so much that we think agric, agro-processing, aquaculture, all these are areas that we need to improve and invest in. What we are talking about with agric is to link it with the roads to bring the produce to the cities, or at least to the places where it will be processed.
Right.
You know, talking along that, for example, tomato farmers in India, what they have done is every farmer, they teach you a technology, simple technology, to turn the raw tomato into a puree before processing, so you don't lose your fresh vegetable on the farms, you know. And all this, we send even people out there to India to learn this, and when they come, we don't employ them, they leave the country and go somewhere else.
Let's talk about sanitation. Your plans is to formulate a National Sanitation Act as a way of tackling the indiscriminate waste disposal in Ghana. I think this is quite a good initiative, but however, we also have several bylaws that's supposed to address this issue, yet they are not usually enforced, and even when they are enforced, punishment is not stringent enough to serve as a deterrent. But let me say this: if this National Sanitation Act is to introduce, or the act is to come to force, how different, will it be from the status quo, from what we have now?
I'm going to be a president who will put what needs to be done now and done right ahead of my re-election. So whatever we need to do as a nation, Edward Mahama will get it done, whether you are going to vote for me next time or not. I think this is where we fail. I've seen our city, people are selling on the pavement. They go out there to take them off. And then there is a hue and cry from those people who are doing the wrong thing. And because they want to be re-elected next time, they abandon it. Meanwhile, some of those young people selling on the pavement in the street, they get knocked down. The other day I saw somebody knocked down, you know. So basically, our desire to be politically correct is another thing that is withholding the forward march of Ghana. everybody gets in there and they're thinking of the next election. They're not thinking of what they promised.
So how different will your national sanitation policy be from what we have now?
Well, basically, those, you know that they are no more training the sanitary inspectors, we call them. They are no more training them. And even when they have trained people, even nurses, they have no jobs for them. Meanwhile, if you go to Kolabo, for example, the number of patients to a nurse, the ratio is out of proportion to what it should be. Every sector has to have monitors and supervisors. I've been saying it. For example, let's give Dumso as an example. Please invite the head of ECG and ask him to tell you in Dome area over the last 3 months how many times the power has gone off. I have the record because I'm interested in making sure that we don't have that kind of situation. So what the point I'm making here is that the supervisors who should make sure that this doesn't happen may be in league with their own subordinates, but there'll be an overall supervisor. So when I give you a job, there'll be parameters to measure your job. At my clinic, I have performance evaluation forms. I've seen that the system is failing. That's why we are talking about the new beginnings. You know, every system can have checks and balances within it. And I'm saying that when the will is there to do anything,
There is
they
a
say
way.
where there is a will,
There is a way.
there's a way.
We'll be right back.
The Hard Truth with Akosia Konedu, only on Vice at 1.
Brought to you by EcoBank. At EcoBank, we see a great future. One that's full of opportunity for those who want to be the best. With over 1,000 branches of a single bank across 33 African countries. It's a future where trade can flourish without boundaries. The future is breathtaking, with enormous cross-border investments helping business and government build new infrastructure, while individuals achieve their ambitions right across Africa. The future is Pan-African, and EcoBank is the Pan-African bank.
You're still watching The Hard Truth, proudly brought to you by EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank, PNC flag bearer Edward Nasigre Mahama. Yeah, I got it right. It's here. So let's talk about this. You have criticized the interim government of their handling of the power situation. And the power situation is gradually normalizing. I think it's fine now, though the cost of tariff is quite high. And you have promised to fix the country's electricity problem within 100 days. How are you going to do this?
We've seen what happened with Ghana Telecom. Vodafone bought it. They are number 2 now after MTN. They are doing very well. We are threatening to privatize ECG. Now you ask yourself, how come when others come, what we thought was not making money, suddenly it's making money?
So, but I'm wondering, 3 months is a short time. 300 days,
because
3 months plus 3 days.
As I said, I've been studying the problem.
Yeah.
And there are many unnecessary issues there. Illegal connections. They know about it. They just can't do something about it because those who are doing it are part of the system. Not sending bills. They know about it, but they won't do something about it because it's part of the system. As I speak now, I know an area where they haven't sent bills for 6 months, since September. In fact, it's now 10 months. How can, I'm sure, if I owe you, you will send me a bill to collect your money. So for a company like ECG that is debt-ridden, they're burdened with debt, and you're not collecting your money.
So what are you going to do? You privatize. Are you going to privatize?
No, if I had been John Mahama by now, I would have gone through 4 or 5 MDs. I give you the task, this is what I want done, and you either do it or you go. I think that personal responsibility is not there.
You just compared Ghana Telecom to Vodafone, saying Vodafone is number 2. They privatized, so the government sold to a private company, and then it's number 2 now.
Yes.
So if you, what is the rationale, sir, behind bringing or changing MDs and the same things will be done,
the same things won't be done. Vodafone is doing well now because the MD has an accountability to do. And if it's not working, they remove him.
But it's a private company, to remind you.
You know, but you see, government, certain services in government have to be run as efficiently as private. We haven't put in systems that hold you accountable. I give this example all the time because I know that if I collapse right here in the studio and they take me to
Please
collapse,
don't.
God forbid. But if I do and they take me to Kolombo, if they don't recognize that this is Dr. Edwin Mahama, I won't get any care. I'll lie in the place there. But if the system is that when an emergency arrives, it doesn't matter who he is. These are the things that have to be done. And if you are the emergency room doctor and you fail to do it, you lose the job. If we were doing this, we'll still be very efficient.
So let's again look at the plan or your plan to decouple the Attorney's General Department and that of the Ministry of Justice when elected as president. I want to know what's the rationale behind this of fighting the corruption.
The Attorney General or Director of Public Prosecutions, as we will call him, should be independent of government influence. So he will be like a Chief Justice, a Supreme Court judge, or the chairman of the EC, not directly under government. And his duty is to prosecute people who do wrong, including even private industry. Because private industry, people, Enron situation in America, they didn't let the guy go. It's private, but he went to jail. So basically, we must have somebody with the integrity, and there are men of integrity in this nation. I won't mention names, but there are men. You know some of them. Even within their own governments, they have advocated for people to be persecuted. So the Ghanaians who want to do the right thing are there. The system run from the presidency doesn't allow them to do that. And that's why I'm so optimistic, because I believe in the Ghanaian. I believe that Ghanaians can do wonders given a system that works for everybody.
Are you going to be like a dictator? If you don't do this happens, you're a tyrant. Would we see someone like that? Like, do this or this happens to you?
No, it's not dictatorship. Even when I'm going to take you to surgery, I tell you, you may die on the table. It's a fact. There are risks to what you do. So when I appoint you as minister, I tell you, this country, I am coming to fight corruption. So if you're going to fight corruption with me, we are on the same team. But if you are coming to enrich yourself, please excuse yourself.
You are out.
You are out.
Right. So let's look at this. The flag bearer of APC, People's Congress, Hassan Ayariga, came on this platform and accused you of not supporting him when he was standing on the ticket of the PNC in 2012. And he also went on to say that you did not even vote for the PNC on that day. How factual is this?
In 2012, I lost to him. I came up to the platform, raised his hand, congratulated him, and said we'll work together. 2015, he loses to me, and he's busy crying and asking for recounting the votes. If he had learned from me that in democracy, you win, you lose. When you lose, you commend and congratulate the opponent.
Did you vote in 2012, sir?
Is that about importance to you?
Yeah.
Why?
So if you want your party to so much win, yes, so you want to vote. So I'm asking, did you vote in 2012?
My vote is secret. Whether I vote or didn't vote, whom I vote for, my vote is secret.
Yes, it's secret when we don't know whom you voted for.
That's
but
right.
did you
even
vote?
When you know whom you voted for, you keep your vote secret. And how I vote and whether I vote is my personal business.
So I take you didn't vote.
You can take it whichever way you want to take it. But I am not saying whether I voted or not, and whom I voted or not, it's none of anybody's business. It's my personal business. That's my sovereignty. And I started by talking about sovereignty.
What should the people of Ghana take home tonight? That because of these three reasons, we are going to rally behind Dr. Mahama and actually vote for him.
Ghana is sick. Corruption, poverty, ignorance, cholera, meningitis killing people. Ghana needs a doctor who can take care of it. And I'm a doctor. I am saying that the people of Ghana should employ me as their president. I'm going to be an employee of the sovereign people of Ghana, not a boss over them. And I have said yesterday that I'll have a day at the Flagstaff House where any Ghanaian, no matter your status, can come and see me directly. I've said if you vote for John Mahama, you voted an NDC president. If you vote for Nana Akufo-Addo, you voted an MPP president. If you vote Edward Mahama, you voted your own president.
Finally, sir, why do you think that your fifth attempt to become a president will be any better than your previous performance?
All those times, there was no hard truth. Nobody heard me. Also, in those days, people had not yet learned that these two parties, MPP and NDC, are there for themselves and not for them. And thirdly, even when other candidates were saying, oh, we won't tell you what we want to do because the people in power will take our ideas, I was giving up my ideas. And both NDC and MPP have implemented my ideas. Get Fund, for example, it was out of our Congress in Kumasi, 1998, September 17th, when I said, if voted. At that time, students from IPS Legon had demonstrated before the castle. And the fire department or some agency were asked to douse them with water. Some of them ran and got hurt. And I was very, very critical of then President Rawlings. And a news person said, so what would you have done? And I said, come to our Congress in Kumasi, and I'll tell you what I would have done. So I proposed Get Fund to alleviate the situation of user fees and also to add to our funding for education.
Sir, so in the unlikely event where Ghana says, well, we'll go with our duopoly, NDC and MPP, who would you support?
And when I get to that bridge, I'll cross.
So you have someone in mind to support?
No. I have myself in mind. Why would the people of Ghana do that? If they do that, they're searching themselves. 1996, we were three candidates. J.J. Rawlings, J.A. Kufuor, Edward Nasigre Mahama. That year, 1996, the people of Ghana gave it to J.J. Rawlings. I said, fine, thank you. 2000, they gave it to J.A. Kufuor. I said, fine, thank you. Now my people have brought me back and said, look at this man again. God was keeping me for such a time as this. When we are seeing that there is an argument about the voter register, so we are preparing ourselves as a nation for danger going into this election with a disputed election register. The man of peace is Edward Mahama. And I proved it last Saturday. Rotary Club of all agencies and international organizations asked the four candidates, President Mahama, Nana Akufo-Addo, Greenstreet, and myself, come to the National Peace Summit and sign that you will lead this country in peace. The only one who went for the Peace Summit was Edward Mahama. I'm the only one who wants peace. So if Ghanaians want chaos, vote any other way. If you want peace, vote Edward Mahama.
Thank you so much, sir, for talking to the hard truth. If you are fed up with the duopoly and if you want a man of peace, that's him, the PNC flag bearer, Edward Nasigre Mahama. Come November 7th, he's asking for a vote. Let's rally behind him. If his promises are really true, we hope, sir, that you do what you say you do.
If I don't do it, I won't even present myself for re-election. I can tell you that.
This being the hard truth, and we are proudly brought to you by EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank. My name is Nana Akosua-Kunedu Asante Samuels. Have a wonderful evening. Bye.
The Hard Truth with Akosua Konedu, only on Vice at 1.
Brought to you by EcoBank.